They really did have to wait until I started traveling to release this trailer. I mean, you saw in the last video, I spent so long getting that fucking recording setup put together. Watch this one somehow look and sound better. At least there's no lights that'll turn off. Now, normally I don't do this. In fact, I don't think I've done this since the last time I talked about the Sonic movie franchise, which was like when the original teaser poster was released. That weird as hell thing. There's a dog. Hi. Hey, Marmy. Oh my goodness, you're so sweet. Marmy, what are your thoughts on Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic movie 3? I agree. What are you doing? What you doing, girl? Okay, she's doing this thing where she likes rubbing her face against people because I think she has an itch in her eye. Hi. Oh my god, Marmy. What are you doing? Marmy. Oh no. This oh my god. Jesus Christ. It's like a FNAF animatronic. My god, Marmy. Sit down, girl. Sit down. Sit down. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, you got crusties in your eyes. Oh wait, let me look at that. Hold on, 1 second. Hold still. I got you. Marmy. Okay. The dog is fine now. What was the point of this video? So last time I ever talked about something like this was with the release of the original teaser poster for the first Sonic movie. You know, that weirdly bad one. Obviously, a lot has changed since both that poster and the initial trailer dropped because this movie series is really successful and it's also good, which is the weirdest thing to say about it. And now we're here at Sonic Movie 3, which I love is what everyone's just calling it instead of saying Sonic the Hedgehog 3, where it's like, well, what about where's Ann Knuckles? But the trailer just dropped as I'm recording this today, the 27th, and damn, son, it's good. It is really good. I mean, like, I don't like to buy into the hype that much because the discourse surrounding the release of this trailer, I'm not gonna lie, has been insufferable. Like, y'all need to calm down. I get that added to the hype and that added to the buildup, but there was a part of me that was wondering with how many videos were saying the trailer is releasing today when that video was made back in like July or something like that. I was skeptical. I was very skeptical as to like whether or not the trailer would live up to the hype, and genuinely it did. Like, this is looking like the best trailer any of the movies had gotten, even more than like the revised Sonic trailer from like the first movie or like any of the story trailers from Sonic 2, which were all like cool, which were all like fun. This one is just firing on all cylinders. It is so it just looks so cool. To give some context as to like my thoughts and feelings on like the films, because like I've made them like very briefly, like talked about them like in like other videos, like just brief mentions, but the first Sonic movie I remember liking a fair bit. I think it's a pretty decent movie. I have more memories of it because when I went to see it, it was actually a Valentine's Day date with my fiance when it came out. And we were seeing it mostly as a joke, and no joke, right around the baseball scene, like the baseball field scene, when Sonic is having like his moment of like loneliness. During that scene, we looked at each other and just said, "Is this movie good? Like, is this movie actually like weirdly good?" And it is. Like, it's nothing spectacular. Like, it's a very generic, like, fine kids movie. Like, it's not gonna break any new ground, but if you're looking for something that's like fun, something that like any kids can enjoy, it's a good time. It's not like the best representation of like Sonic as a franchise, but it does have one of my favorite interpretations of the character. I really like how he's handled in that movie. Not all of it lands. Like, some of the jokes are really lame, and the general plot, like the movie overall, like definitely kind of reeks of like, all right, they didn't get like a ton of budget, and there probably wasn't like a ton of faith from the higher ups in regards to this movie, but you know, people went and saw it and they were like, this is actually really good. I'd love to see a sequel. And they teased a sequel and it came out. And Sonic 2 is a really, really good movie. Like, genuinely, like, that's one of my favorite video game adaptations, the Sonic 2 movie. It basically improves on almost everything. The action's a lot more fun. It focuses way more on Sonic and Tails' characters. Knuckles is a good time. Jim Carrey as Robotnik is even more unhinged, and I love that about him. The only things that I wasn't particularly fond of the second movie was the fact that anytime the human characters were on screen, it felt very forced and kind of phoned in. So anytime they were on screen, I was kind of like, whatever. But sometimes they had some good laughs. particularly like the wedding scene. That's still one of the funniest bits I've ever seen in any movie. I still love that bit. But overall, like it is a really good movie. It's a good time, and it's great fun. And it left me very excited for what they could do with a third one, especially considering that post-credit scene teased the third Sonic movie. Now this, people, how is it that literally everyone except Sega proper knows what the hell to do with this character? This trailer slaps so hard. Like, this is the wildest thing about it. Like, I'm only like kind of like noticing this because I have the trailer up on my laptop here. It is shockingly long. It's a shockingly long trailer for something like this. It's 3 minutes, and it's not doing that thing where it's like it spends the first 10 seconds showing like a scissor reel of clips being like trailer starts now, which doesn't make any sense at all. Like, it just hits the ground running and goes right for it, and it's just constant like awesomeness. We get the reveal of Shadow, which, damn son, he looks awesome. Like, Keanu's voice fits really well. There's a part of me that wonders like who else could have possibly voiced Shadow, because I feel like there's a lot of options you could do. Like, I've seen a lot of push for like Robert Pattinson as well. I think he could have been a good Shadow too, or even like bringing back the voice actors like Kirk Thornton, David Humphrey, or Jason Griffith. But like, I feel like wasn't as likely to happen, especially considering they're trying to keep both the games and the movies pretty separate, with like the one exception being Tails' voice actress. But like, Colleen O'Shaughnessy is the best voice for Tails we've ever gotten, so you know, like it's kind of fair that we have that. But yeah, just so much about this trailer just pushes all the right buttons for me. Like, it's colorful, but it also has like this really fun edge to it that like also I feel like would be needed for a story like this when you're adapting something like Adventure 2. Some of the shots in this are just absolutely gorgeous, like just absolutely insanely well put together. The shot of Shadow looking in a shattered mirror, it's the most like on the nose type of symbolism you can give, but like it slaps. It looks really freaking cool. Him with Maria looks great. That's a really good shot. This is the weird thing. I've seen so many fan edits and like fan recreations of like like Adventure 2 in real life that like it's kind of weird actually seeing the official thing now. Like, I'm not used to the idea of like seeing like this particular scene from Adventure 2, which I thought they would never touch again after like Shadow the Hedgehog. I thought they would never go back to this. The scene actually adapted in live action, and it looking really cool. It's cool. Like, it's genuinely really awesome. You could tell I'm not scripted because I'm stammering over myself, and I'm like, I just want to talk about this. This just seems like a really cool trailer. So if I sound like an idiot, I always do. What the hell are you talking about? I think what I will do is I will kind of just go like break down at least like what I'm noticing in the trailer, what I'm really enjoying. So if you haven't seen the trailer, if for some reason you haven't seen the trailer but are instead watching this video, like YouTube's doing some wild things to your recommendation board. But if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Like, go watch it. Like either on Paramount's YouTube channel, the Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube channel, or the Sega YouTube channel, which is really funny because the trailer on that one has significantly less views than the other two. At least at the time I'm recording this, that could be completely different. But yeah, go watch the trailer. It is a lot of fun if you want. If you're a fan of watching trailers in the first place, and if you're not, why are you even watching this video? But yeah, like we start off seeing Sonic and the gang kind of doing their thing, saving lives around the world. I love the shot of Knuckles like just leaping off of Big Ben. That seems really fun. I imagine, like, considering some of the lines in this trailer, they're probably working with Gun or with GUN on like trying to actually save the world, which is honestly, it's a neat change. I think that actually works pretty well. Like, you're gonna hear this a lot. Like, I think a lot of the changes made to like the original story of like the games, I'm perfectly fine with it because it's like kind of cool to see like these new interpretations, and also because like the first movie set such a different foundation that's kind of like, all right, let's see how they adapt this, and if it looks cool, then I'm down for it. And seeing Sonic and gang around the world is like really fun. I actually really like this moment with Sonic and Tom. And from what it looks like it's in Sonic's old like cave that he used to live in the first movie, which is kind of neat. I like the fact that we're going back there and seeing Sonic and his newfound dad. I think their interaction's good. Honestly, like as much as I don't particularly care for the human characters, I do like James Marsden and Tika Sumpter's characters in these movies. I can never remember their names. I just know them as Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady. But I think they both do a decent job. I think, especially in the second one where they're acting as surrogate parents for these characters. I think in this one they're gonna build off on that a little bit more. It's definitely not gonna be the focus, but it definitely seems like it's added on to a little bit, which I like. I kind of like that we're getting more moments of this, and it helps kind of further Sonic's character, which is nice because Sonic actually has an arc in this in this movie, and it's the first time I could say an arc for Sonic has actually been good. Genuinely, think of any other time Sonic has been given an arc in any game. He hasn't. He's never had an arc in any game. I not that I can think of. I genuinely cannot think of any arc that Sonic has gone on. He's usually someone who helps other people with their own arcs. But in these movies, he's always had like some form of arc throughout the journey, throughout the films. So I like that we're kind of building up on that a little bit more, and I like that Tails and Knuckles are interacting more. Obviously, like you kind of need to, but it's really cool to see. Prison Island. Holy hell, this stuff looks really cool. I'm surprised they're going more with like the red and blue kind of look, because I'm used to that being with Eggman, with Jim Carrey's Eggman, because that's usually the colors he's associated with in the films. But it does help Shadow pop out a little bit more, and Shadow, my god, that shot of him busting out of the capsule fist first, that is these are people like hopefully the VFX team is not losing their minds making this movie. But this stuff looks really good. Like, that shot goes so hard, and just everything around it. I like that, again, like I said, I like that Gunn is calling on Team Sonic to take care of the threat of Shadow, because he's just so, like, much harder to, like, deal with. I'm loving this shot of Maria and Shadow together. Again, it's so weird seeing it in live action for like official live action for the first time, but it's really cool. I'm curious how much they're really going to show. I imagine if this movie is over 2 hours long, I would imagine Shadow would probably get a decent amount of time. At least like with his backstory. There's definitely backstory scenes in this. They're not going to shy away from that because, spoiler, if you haven't watched the trailer for some fucking reason, like when we had the comparison of like, Sonic, you have your family, Shadow has nothing but pain, and we see Gerald and Shadow mourning over Maria. There's a really funny trend and meme with the, it's the Sonic Symphony orchestras, like the concerts. Whenever they show that scene from Shadow the Hedgehog of Maria getting shot while playing like I Am All of Me, everyone cheers, and it's the funniest shit in the world to me. I am like, it's so hilarious just because like in the context of that own game, it's so out of nowhere and wild. I hope that's not too much of a trend with this movie, because I'm imagining they're gonna take this pretty seriously, and the way it's shown, I'm hoping it makes people cry, because that's exactly the emotion this scene like this should have. But like just this shot of them mourning over Maria, like my god, it is like this is gonna hurt a lot of people. Call me a sucker for Sonic Team versus Shadow in Japan. That's just a really, really fun idea. That's just always gonna be a cool setting for any fight scene, regardless of like what it is. And this is the first time we hear Keanu Reeves as Shadow, and damn, he it is just Reeves' voice. It is just Keanu's voice, which like I'm not gonna act like is a bad thing. Like I'm kind of used to seeing celebrities in voiceover roles where it's just kind of their voice, but for Shadow it fits really well. Like his performance, his delivery fits so well. I feel like we need to see more of like Shadow speaking in like, I almost said in game, Shadow speaking like on camera, because we only get snippets of him speaking, and like the only time we see him actually speak is when he says "you're a colorful bunch," and every other time is like just other pieces of dialogue that are put in just because it sounds good for the trailer.
When we're done, there won't be anything left.
Comedy in this scene is really good with Knuckles. This bit where Shadow breaks Knuckles' arm is rough. Damn, that's what he gets for breaking Agent Stone's fist in the last movie. All the animations for Shadow look so good. I like the change of doing more of like a red hue for his chaos control, for his teleport dash. That's something we don't normally see. We usually see him with like blue or something along those lines, but here it's like a red flash, which like I think actually kind of works better because they try their best to like color code everyone pretty decently, and with I think if they did it, it would be a little busy, especially with like Sonic being there, but all of this looks so good. This shot of Shadow running away from what I'm assuming is Prison Island, that goes so hard. You're gonna hear me say that a lot where I'm like, this stuff just hits all the right levels. It just looks so cool. It looks so awesome. This bit where he's just beating the hell out of all the gun soldiers. Tom's there for some reason. It dressed up in a gun uniform. I'm guessing he's there undercover or maybe he's in training. I have no idea, but I like the idea that maybe he's like in peril or like there's something at stake. My guess for this particular bit is that maybe Shadow like sees that Tom's in danger and Sonic's trying to help him and has a flashback of Maria, and that's like the first time we get like a glimpse of Shadow's humanity peeking through. I don't think it's gonna be like anything too severe. I don't think they'll kill off. I don't think they'll kill off either of Sonic's parents in this. I think that'd be a little much. That would be a little much to do during this. The Vortex bit, that's really cool. If you listen to the trailer, I only noticed this while listening to it very carefully with headphones. The music that's playing during like the middle portion is an orchestral remix of Green Hill Zone, which I never thought, like, okay, I hope this is a case where it's on purpose and not Dreams of an Absolution where it's by complete accident and everyone's like, he did it on purpose. But dude, change that shit to D minor and you get like the most dramatic sounding version of this theme I've ever heard. It sounds so good.
He's too powerful. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we need you-know-who.
I like the idea that they're teaming up with Eggman much earlier on to stop Shadow, because so far it seems like Shadow's like kind of on his own. He's not using Eggman as like a means to an end, and so far it doesn't seem like any of the other characters from Adventure 2 are going to show up, which I'm fine with. I don't think Shadow by himself is already enough to fill a movie. I feel like adding Rouge and like people were clamoring for Amy. I don't think they're gonna have Amy because that's just a lot of characters. I wouldn't mind seeing Amy in a future movie, but I think right now it's kind of where it needs to be. Like there's enough here to like fill an entire movie. I love the fact that they're playing up the fact that Eggman is just turned into a basement dweller and is just hiding from the government, which I think is really funny. Jim Carrey, once again, like this, born for this role. He does so good in this role. I'm very excited to see him back in the goggles and the suit. It just looks fun. It looks like a lot of fun. And again, like all of these shots look so good. It's so colorful. That's what I'm loving. I'm loving just how vibrant and colorful this is, because I'm too used to like too many action films as of late just being like really gray and colorless. This film's not it, and neither were the other films, to be fair, but like this one like really just feels very vibrant. Shadow on the motorcycle is the edgiest shit I've ever seen, and I love it. I'm noticing like I think there's a bit where they're in like a chow cafe. I don't even know what it's like. It's like a cafe like that's specifically for chow. Like I don't know. It's like a pop-up cafe in Japan almost, but a chow pop-up cafe. That'd be really funny if that's actually where they ended up going in this scene. And I need to mention, Shadow doing the Akira slide is the hypest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's not lying, half the reason I wanted to make this video. I want this image as a desktop wallpaper. This is the coolest shit I have ever seen. It just looks so cool. That's the whole thesis of this trailer. It just looks so cool. That final bit with the two of them coming after each other with the orchestral version of Live and Learn, it looks so good. And then we get a little fun reveal, which I wish they kind of saved this. I do wish that they saved this for when the movie came out, but I am liking that we, considering how long we had to wait for this trailer, we're getting like a little more than we normally would. We get revealed that Jim Carrey is doing a dual role as both Eggman and Gerald Robotnik, and Gerald's alive, which I was not expecting. I was not expecting Gerald to be alive during the events of this movie, because again, in the game, by this point he's long dead via firing squad kids game, but in this one he's he's just up and alive. He's probably like in some sort of secret lab. It's gonna be interesting to see because we've never seen Eggman and Gerald actually like interact in any sense, any form or fashion. So that's gonna be cool to see. I'm actually really excited to see that. I love that Jim Carrey only has one old man voice, and it's his Ebenezer Scrooge voice for Gerald, and that's really funny. The makeup on him looks really fun. It does look very much in line of who Gerald kind of looks like. So I'm curious to see like what they're gonna do with this. Like, is Gerald still pulling all the strings behind the scenes? Which I imagine he probably is, but if so, I wonder how that's gonna work into Shadow's redemption and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that is still up there for speculation, despite how much is shown in this trailer. I know that there's like kind of a debate as to whether or not like trailers should show all this stuff. I'm of two minds of it. To me, I had an idea of where this film was going to be going anyway because I played Adventure 2 and I played that game way too much already, and I genuinely enjoyed the story of that game. So I was more curious to see like how are they going to adapt some things, and they've changed a fair bit, but I think what they've changed fits in line with where the series is going, where the film series is going. And I like the fact that it's doing changes that genuinely seem interesting to see. Like, Gerald being alive during the events of Adventure 2 would have been radically different compared to what ended up happening. So I'm curious to see where that goes. I'm curious to see, and even to get his perspective on, let's face it, Maria's death. It's like, there's no way they're not killing that girl off. I'm curious to hear his perspective, like, in person, as opposed to, like, a recording. And just to see how far his motivation goes in this film. And even if there's, like, a confrontation between him and Eggman, I think that would be really interesting to see. But overall, yeah, I'm genuinely really excited. I was a little worried because I like to keep my expectations in check with the film series, because you never know when some executive comes in and changes everything out of nowhere. But this one, it genuinely feels like everyone on board wanted to make this and wanted to make something really freaking cool and really fun. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting tickets as soon as they go live, and I hope to see this not in IMAX, because I don't like IMAX. See it in either Dolby or laser vision, because that just looks way better. With all that said, again, I don't do outros for videos. I don't know. What's a funny punchline I could do? Oh, my card's filling up.